Chaz comes in next year and that Toyota's dominant, he wins 18 races and has a mechanical failure on the last day of Sunday, am I a WAU dick rider if I say the same and say this is bullshit, Chaz deserved to win it? No.
For someone to be so dominant over a season and then all of that amazing work that Brock and his team did to be defined by one bad race, probably a bit shit for the sport.
I'm yet to see a team member from the team that came 10th in the standings walk out onto the pitch during the grand final and trip someone over whilst they're taking a goal from like 20 metres out.
Yeah.
So we're not the fucking same. Stop comparing it to ball sports.
Oh no! He's in defence! The man's in defence! They're all in defence! Oh, unbelievable!
On the Red Bull, get yourself going.
Get some wings.
Sound check.
Sound check.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers, mate.
Feels like, weirdly, it's been a long time since we've been here, don't you reckon?
Which is odd because the week prior we did like 4 or 5 episodes in a week.
I know.
It does feel like it's been a long time.
And that's only last week.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, actually, no, you're right. It was the week prior to last week. Last week was mostly editing and getting things out. But it just feels, I feel a little bit out of practice. I should be good at it now being a cowie. I never drive, so
No.
I should be good at just turning up a couple of times a year. But anyway, we're back. It was a big weekend in Adelaide. That's probably why as well. A lot happened.
Yeah.
A lot happened and went down in Adelaide. So it does feel like there's a lot of shit to talk about. Congrats to Chaz Mostert and Walkinshaw and Andretti United. Got the dub.
Yeah, they are the Supercar champions under the new finals format.
Yeah, mate, it was wild. It wasn't obviously how I was very public about it. It wasn't how I thought it would go down, but we did say he was arguably a favourite going in. Probably would have liked to have seen it a little bit different how it played out, but I don't think it was a shock to anyone that he went there and was, well, he's one of the favourites and they got it done. So, yeah, congrats to those guys. We will break that down, though, what we think about it and what our expert opinion at the bar while having a quiet beverage is, mate, how we fix the world's problems here in one podcast. But you had a race weekend as well, though, and I have to say, mate, it is good to see you wheeling a fast race car and showing what you can actually do. So well done on a very good weekend.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it was good. Yes, Trans Am was at Adelaide, for those that might have caught us in action there. And we were actually at Mallar the weekend prior, so I did a double header, if you like.
Your favourite.
But, yeah, love it. But both were really good weekends. So I think we finished 6th at Mallar for the round. We finished 4th at Adelaide for the round, but really good speed at Adelaide. Yeah, car was really good. We kind of had 2/3, but I got a 5-second penalty for jumping the chicane like a peanut. So that
I don't know about that, though. Like the 5-second penalties watching was a little bit frustrating because we've come off the back of, the Gold Coast was a little while ago, but we celebrated how cool it looked, everyone going through the chicane. And I watched that race. I didn't think anyone in your category was jumping that bad.
No.
And it was everyone running nose to tail. And then they started going ping, 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 5 seconds. And I was standing next to Marcus and he's like, fuck, another one's got 5 seconds. And then we thought you were good and you got one late. But I can see Adelaide's a lot easier to cut without a penalty of like it slowing you down. But it was really weird to just see so many all of a sudden get a 5-second penalty. It was almost lucky you all got one.
It definitely felt intermittent and when we were getting strikes when we went across the whole weekend. Like from practice on, we said, actually Moff in the driver's briefing was pretty angry. He's like, that thing better be turned on from practice 1 so we know where it's at. And they're like, yep, will be. And then like no one got him in practice 1, but then everyone got him in practice 2.
Yeah, okay. Did you get, how does it, just so the listeners know, how does it work during the race for you? When do you get notified? You've got a radio, right? So is Ambrose on the radio to you telling you what's going on?
Yeah, so Marcus is on the cans to me. He's chatting to me. But the problem was, so normally what would happen is we've actually got 2 beacons in the car.
Right.
So they've gone to the new MyLapse beacon, but you also have to run your Dorian, which is the old school beacon. And apparently the Dorian is for the track guideline, like the track limits. So we have to run 2. Normally what would happen is when you get a strike, it comes up on the timing monitor in yellow in the pit lane, and then that's the way the team can acknowledge that, you've got a strike.
Okay.
And they can keep track of how many you're getting as well. Right, because the team will only hear from race control when you've got a warning.
Yeah, the black and white flag.
Yeah.
Right. I saw a lot of numbers hanging out off the...
over the wall.
I was looking for 75. I didn't see it till the very end.
Fuck. But yeah, so normally your team can track it, but unfortunately for that race, it wasn't coming on the screens. The teams had no idea until they got like, hey, you've got a warning, and then if you strike again, you're done. So you couldn't actually track it, which is a problem because then how do they penalise you if the team can't track it and you can't? Because you can then go back in the footage and then go, yes, no, whatever. So
which I guess is why they everyone just started getting 5 seconds at the end because teams weren't able to track it. But anyway, that was one little hiccup, I thought, for the category that I didn't totally agree with, but I thought the racing was good. Obviously, Todd Hazelwood, congrats to him as well.
Yeah, Todd won. He's a 2-time champion now, so well done to TFH and Todd. But yeah, the weekend was good for me. Yeah, so 4th, 3rd, 6th in the last one, I think. I got fed off into the fence off the start, and that sort of bent the car, and then we just managed to bring home in 6th for the last race. But the car was really fast, so I'm going into the off-season feeling good, positive. Yeah, Marcus and the crew, they all did an amazing job. So, yeah, pumped for next year.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch, mate. And congrats to Marcus Ambrose, got the Hall of Fame inductee.
He did.
I texted him, go, there you go, you now get a free pass to the racetrack. Congratulations. That is mega and well-deserved. One of the goats of our sport, wasn't here for long enough to stack up all the numbers that everyone would, when you look back at someone's history, you might see the stats, and if you don't know how many years he was here for, you go, oh, yeah, well, Scafie and those smashed him. But, I mean, for his little period, his win rate and everything was remarkable, and then his contribution now, I think, to the sport as well is what he's giving back.
Oh, 100%.
Is worthy of a Hall of Fame inductee, and it's nice as well to do it young. Like, it's great to see these guys, like, get inducted when they can still be around the sport and ambassadors and inspire others. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, rather than when they're 70 or something.
Yeah, so congrats, mate.
So the weekend was good. And I must just say to all the hunters that came out and saw me at Adelaide and bought shirts, so we had our merch going, Alpha Theta Camaro.
They did well.
T-shirts.
I saw a bunch got sold there, yeah?
Heaps. They've sold heaps today, actually, and there's still plenty online. So if you do want a shirt, head to my socials and the link's in the bio. But, yeah, thanks to everyone that came out. Heaps of people in Apex Hunter gear. I signed a couple of flags, some hats and stuff. So that was awesome to see. So we appreciate the support that you give Scotty and I. It was really cool to see you all out at the track. So
it is very good. Very nice to see the support out there. So thank you. It's much needed sometimes too when I'm very vocal and I stick my face up on social media and you get 2,500 comments. It's nice to actually get see some friendly faces around the track that remind you that what you're doing is still good. But so thank you. I did want to as well, a little bit somber here, but mention Alan Moffat passing away because we didn't actually get to do that prior to Adelaide. Fantastic to see the minute silence on the grid for him. So yeah, condolences to him and his family, well, to James and the family as well. And yeah, huge member of our community. And I saw this actually blew me away. I went back, it's nice, when someone passes away that I was too young to appreciate. I always jump on YouTube. So when you watch a documentary, you get inspired to find out more about them. And I found an interview with Jesse Yates, Scaife and Moffat at Phillip Island it was. And I think his win rate was 1 in 3.
Fuck.
In Supercars. So he did in the championship. So he did, I think it was 100 races, 100 and whatever it might be. I'm going to get the number wrong now. But he won like over 100 races. And it was, 1 in 3 was his win rate. And I just was like, I was inspired to just keep searching him. I started going back and watching some of his old highlights and interviews as well. It's fascinating to hear how, I think the difference in the drivers and the way they talk now as well. It was really cool to just see someone so, not swearing, but he was very like honest and brutal in assessments of performance or the car's performance, whatever it might be. So it's cool. It was a cool era.
Well, he really paved the way for professional motorsport in Australia because he was the first to come over and actually have like a full-time mechanic, full-time race. So he actually kind of created that over here in Australia. So
yeah, I actually met him at Team 18, only the once, but he came in and I chatted to him about that, and it was just the level that he took it to obviously sparked a pretty competitive environment back here in Australia. So very cool. And then Bondi as well, to get to meet him and going back and watching those highlights and seeing Bondi at the track and everything, like it's just they're iconic, and those people. That's why I say the Hall of Fame getting inducted early enough that these people can be around the track and we can all admire them from afar or up close or whatever it might be and get to meet them at the track is amazing. So condolences there though, and rest in peace, Moff. Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw & Partners Financial Services. Shaw & Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, if you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw & Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. Shall we get into the driver standings, mate? Because that is it, the finale, it's all over. Yes. All run and done for Supercars.
We should.
Chaz Mozzie got it done. Will Brown ended up finishing second in the championship. Brock Feeney third. Kai Allen P4. Obviously, those four were locked in going into the weekend, so we kind of know anyway, but a little refresher was P5 was Matty Payne, 6th Cam Waters, 7th Randall, and then 8th Deep Pasquale, Brody 9th, and P10 was Woody.
Yeah.
What do you think, mate? Who's your standouts? Who surprised you in the points? And keep in mind too, I did make this as a note because I knew I'd forget, but those outside of the top 7 couldn't improve after each one, and the same as the top 4. So it's difficult when you look at a season and say who did well because they might have done well in the back end, and it's not representative in the points.
Yeah. I guess surprises. Probably a surprise to me is probably Brody being 9th.
Yeah.
I think at the start of the year, everyone had high hopes and how they were going to go and things like that. So it's probably a little bit of a surprise for me. They've obviously had a tougher year than what was anticipated. I agree. You've put it in the notes here too. Woody only 10th. That's probably a surprise for how much speed he had across the year. But again, we've touched on it in shows. DNFs, shit falling off his car. You know, there's probably a big chunk of why he is 10th there in the points. And Will being second is probably a surprise too. I guess going into Adelaide, we probably assumed Brock was maybe going to win it. And you know, we had sort of said Chaz is always fast there too, and how he was going in his run of finals was he had heaps of speed going off Goldie and everything like that. So they're probably the surprises for me, mate.
I'm surprised that Wood was only 10th because he still... Yeah, he had mechanical failures, but it felt like he was there every week.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do you have... It wasn't that many mechanical failures, but then the points don't stack up that he's sort of... Just to finish 10th really surprised me because, yeah, he was there. He was so competitive. So I guess maybe the mechanicals came at the worst times throughout the year. Like, you look at Bathurst, he would have scored big points. He was leading when he had the failure at Perth. Like... When he had the failures, it might have been when he was on for his best results for the season, which is the biggest shame.
Yeah.
Hard one to accept because he is an absolute superstar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's the only thing I could think of because I thought 10th shocked me when I saw that today. And you're right about Brody. I'm not sure where they go from here. Obviously, they've got Rylan Gray coming in. I don't think they're expecting... I think he'd be quick. He did a very impressive job at Adelaide, actually, in Super 2. And got the championship, so well done there as well. Plenty of congrats going out this episode. But, yeah, so I think he surprised me in Adelaide. He seemed to have really stepped up. Whether it's just that being relaxed, knowing his main game next year, he performed really well. And then, yeah, so maybe he will rock up and straight away be a star like what we've seen with Kai Allen. And because Davo, I put him down, he's 20th in the championship. I think we could see Rylan better that, but I don't know as for DJR where they go to from here because they aren't really standouts right now. Even with Brody, who we know is as good as Brody is, he's not doing that well.
Yeah, it's really up to the team giving Brody and Rylan the tools next year because, as you say, Brody's a bit of a unique beast in that, you know, not many people can pick up a car and make it do things it doesn't want to do. I think Brody's maybe one of those special drivers that maybe can. Yeah. Or can get a team behind him enough that his car's maybe a little bit different and goes the direction it needs to go versus the other side of the garage. I'm not sure. So I think for both of them to go well, they've probably got a little bit of work to do because Brody should be winning races or at least on the podium regularly. So it'll be interesting. But, yeah, I think Rylan will do well. He's obviously going to learn a shitload. Yeah, he's got a lot to learn, but he will learn a lot from guys like Brody and the team that they got there. So it'll be exciting to watch.
The other one that surprised me was actually Percat because they had flashes early in the season. You know, Grand Prix was very strong, and then he finished 16th, and he actually only scored 1,286 points, which is not a lot across the season. So yeah, I just thought. Yeah, it's funny when you look back at the season now and you actually see where people finish because when they have great results every now and then, you start to think the season's going better than it is, and then you look back and you go, oh, like it was like Woody. It shocked me that he was 10th. Yeah. Because we're talking about him like he deserved to be a contender against Brock. Yeah. Which just, it surprised me, the gaps, you know.
early contender for my Who Remembered's Percat once he becomes a Cowie at Triple Eight.
Oh, yeah.
And I think
He'll be
that'll be
like-
another prime example of how the Who Remember Who Forgot came about.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I think I was third fastest of all drivers at Bathurst this year in the dry, and Percat will be one of those.
Yeah.
Percat will be straight up there. He's going to be a Who Remembered. We can put that in the bank. I can put a bet on that one.
Yeah.
So, and JC as well. Here's another one we talked about a lot during the year about, I guess, because it's his final hurrah. They were, he was always forefront of broadcast, and he had good results like the podium. I think it was this year at Perth.
Yep.
But then to finish up P19, they're just guys. I was like, fuck, looking at the numbers, I'm like, I really thought they had seasons that were better than what they had in the past even. And then I'm like, oh, points-wise, they've actually, so there must have been some shockers along the way. But 19th for JC, I thought was a surprise. And he's not going to be, he wouldn't have been happy with, I don't think he really cared in the end. But finishing in that way, he probably wanted, you want more, and that's where you lose the love for it, I guess. You're not turning up to the weekend anymore.
Yeah.
Motivated to get a result because it's unlikely. But I got to say, Aaron Cameron, I think he arrived, and he must listen to the show, because I ran him down the grid as he was walking to his position, and I just shook his hand and said, hey, man, great job in qualifying when he started out of P2. And as he's like, oh, thanks, no worries. And he went, maybe I remembered as he called out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, he must listen. But shout out, Aaron. You did remember.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I think it shows that, when you can turn a lap like that, the speed's in there.
Yeah.
Just got to get it out of them and give them a car as well that can do it. So BRT, great job, JC. Again, I mean, he was fast on the weekend. That's again why I was surprised with 19. They were both right up there. So congrats, to BRT and Aaron on the weekend. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, Aaron's pretty funny because at Goldie, when it was his first time in the studio, he came up to me because I was at Surfers, and he's like, oh, maybe you can mention me in the Who Remembered.
Oh, there you go.
And then,
there you go. You got it.
And then, but on, obviously when he qualified, front row at Adelaide on the weekend, but he then made a mistake and clipped the wall at 3. The wall that I got pushed into on Sunday was 3, and he came up to me and he goes, you need to teach me how to hit that wall and keep going, because I tore my thing apart and you were able to finish the race. So
I mean, he hit it pretty hard. He kind of went through 2, bounced off line and made 3 very tight and just carried the tank slap the whole way. So very quickly forgot. We could say.
It happens to the best of us, mate.
But no, I mean, that sort of thing is early in his career, and that sort of stuff shows that, okay, you got the potential in there. Let's, you hope that you start stringing those together and he'll be a guy to watch. And he's got Golding coming in, another young driver, BRT, has good things coming next year. They're going to be better than they were this year. So keep an eye on those guys, I reckon. That would be a good shout.
I agree.
We should probably get into the biggest talking point, mate.
Did something happen on the weekend, Scott?
You wouldn't believe it, mate. Look, I was very, and still am, the finals format. Enjoyed it, fan of it, but had to see the whole pie baked before I had a full opinion on it. And I think, so I get a lot of comments going, this bloke loved it, now he hates it because his boy lost. We always said, right, it's like year 1 of a business plan. You got to see the pros and the cons, and you don't really know until you get to the end whether or not it was a success or not. Now, I think it was a success in many ways.
Yeah.
But you tweak every business model, right? Every year that goes by, you adjust. And if you don't, you're never going to be a success. Like we said, Supercars, we tried to encourage them. We say it's ticking boxes right now, but we said we hope we get to the end of the year, and if a flaw raises its head, we can go tweak it. Don't let pride get in the way. Let's make sure that this is a flexible thing. And that's why my opinion is different. But I don't think it's necessarily changed. I still enjoyed it. I liked it. But we've now seen, I didn't preempt that we would see the worst. I didn't, in my opinion, the worst. I didn't see this coming, if I'm honest. I thought, probably didn't look at the numbers closely enough, but I thought if you had a good Friday, Saturday, you could arrive on Sunday with a better chance really than most to win. But I didn't think that the way it's formatted right now, every year, Sunday's the only day that counts, or a DNF is the only thing that counts.
Yeah.
And if you have a DNF, you can't recover at all. So it doesn't matter if you've won 20 races or 14 or 4, and no one else has won one. One day can define a championship, and that I didn't preempt. I really thought we had nailed the model where we have multiple races. It was thin itself out. So, yeah, I haven't done a backflip. I literally did what I said the whole time would be I'm enjoying it, I like it. But I did say let's get through the last round, and then we have to be able to reflect and not be too proud to make an adjustment if we need to. And I think some adjustments need to be made.
Right.
That's my take. We do have solutions we'll get into, which could be wrong. They're just ideas, probably more than solutions that I have. But I was definitely disappointed to see a driver. We've just got two Bathursts. Like, in my opinion, Sunday it's 125 points. The weekend's 300. Bathurst is 300. The only difference being only 4 drivers get to qualify to compete for this Bathurst.
Yeah.
You know, the CEO said it's great. He said to me, it's great we have a Bathurst 1000 now and a grand final. That's not the best spin, if I'm honest. I think that it's a bit of a PR nightmare that we're calling it a grand final, because a grand final is like, it's one or done, right? But it should only be between 2 people without the other 22 on the field, if you're going to call it that. We've got variables that ball sports don't have. And also, it used to be that we'd ask drivers, Bathurst or a championship. And 90% of drivers will choose a championship because you get the most respect for that from your peers. It's the hardest thing to achieve because you've got to be the most consistent across a season. Bathurst is, you know, we all wake up feeling like we could win that, even if we've qualified 20th, because it's Bathurst, it's special. But a championship's very different, and we've lost that, in my opinion. But I don't think we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think we just need to tweak it and adjust the point system, keep this finals, because there is merit in it. It's been pretty bloody exciting.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it before I keep rambling too long about mine and get too deep into what I think as it is coming?
Yeah. My thoughts, I initially didn't know what to think, to be honest.
How to feel, you mean?
Yeah, so not what to think, how to feel, like a little bit, you know. We all knew going into the finals that shit like this could happen. But I guess until it happens, to your point, you don't know how to feel about it. And
I probably was a bit blinded though.
Yeah.
I was a bit I was a bit caught up in the lights going, this is fucking awesome. And I started to forget the consequences that could happen. So
Well, I think we all did, right? Because we were looking at it from a fan's point of view, but then when the dust settles, you then go, well, put yourself in Brock's shoes or Chaz's shoes or whoever's. But so I sort of, I didn't go to social media or do anything. I just sort of knew we were going to come here and talk about it, wanted to think about it. And I actually found some stuff that Russell Ingall put up, which I thought was actually really good.
Yep.
And he basically said, from the sports point of view, you know, he can see how it would be great because it creates drama and people are talking about it and all of that stuff. But the way that he then put it, I thought was really, really good. So I thought that's how I'm kind of feeling. He's like, it's a bit like reality TV. Some people love that shit. Some people love the sport. And I think if you're a purist of the sport, you're probably going to be thinking what I think you're thinking and what I'm thinking and what some of the fans are thinking. Well, you know, for someone to be so dominant over a season and then all of that amazing work that, you know, Brock and his team did to be defined by one bad race is probably a bit shit for the sport.
Yeah.
Not from the Supercars, the business side where they're selling tickets and people are watching and all that stuff, from the sport. So I tended to agree with Ingall's comments on that. And that's kind of, I guess, how I feel. I think from an entertainment point of view and as a fan having a beer on the couch, maybe it's great if you know, but from... Yeah,
like as a passive viewer that we're bringing them in as a new audience or whatever.
Yeah, just a casual viewer that doesn't really care either way, doesn't really back a brand, doesn't back a driver. You go, oh, fuck, cool, that didn't see that coming, plot twist, great. But for me, you know, I guess as a driver, I put myself in Brock's shoes and I go, fuck, I would feel gutted after being the best by a country mile all year. The crew on his car, faultless pit stops the whole time, like everything was perfect apart from one race. They had an engine misfire in one race, and then their whole season kind of gets defined by a faulty part.
Yep. The difficulty out there I see is everyone, I think calling someone biased is a very cheap argument, right? Because we are all biased, right? Everyone is. And you saying that, so I'm biased because of Triple Eight, well, you're probably saying that because it gave your team an opportunity to compete against Triple Eight. But statistically, what we've got here is most teams, I look back, aren't usually eligible come the last round. It's usually Triple Eight. And that's not bias. That's just looking it up.
Facts.
Right? That's just facts. So most teams like Chaz don't have a chance normally. So you're going to end up with a lot of fans that go for teams that don't normally have a chance, which is why the majority of the fan base will probably love this, and it might be a difficult thing for us to reverse on or put the favour back in the favour of someone that performs excellent across the whole season, which is going to be Triple Eight, right? Everyone as a fan will go, I don't really want that because like if we reward race wins, which is one proposal I'll talk about that I've put forward, more often than not, T8 is probably the one to get the most race wins. So fans will be like, no, we don't want that. And that, okay, that is bias, guys. Like you call me bias if I say, you know, this wasn't great this year, but I'm willing to back that. If Chaz comes in next year and that Toyota's dominant, he wins 18 races and has a mechanical failure on the last day of Sunday, am I a WAU dick rider if I say the same and say this is bullshit, Chaz deserved to win it? No. And I'm taking the risk of saying that I think this is shit, knowing someone else could have Brock's season next year, right? Will won last year. We didn't see Brock's year coming. And I don't care which one of those two guys win or whatever. Like I do Bathurst and the Bend. They're my two races. I do watch the sport though, and I think if someone's excellent, we should reward it.
Yeah.
I understand though, we need to give the other guys a bit of a shot. Like I've got the averages here, and I did want to debunk this because I actually don't like that Ryan and Chaz devalued the sport and kind of brought him disrepute by saying we use the earlier rounds as testing, right? They used early rounds as testing so that they could get to the Enduros with the objective of doing well there. That's where my video came from by saying we're devaluing the early rounds. And most people, it's good to know our sport's predominantly government funding that keeps it alive. So you can't compare it to AFL and say, yeah, but the other rounds, like early rounds in the AFL are important, but they are, but they don't require so much government funding. Like when we go to the Townsville and we need the money from the government to fund it, and they go, well, how do we make this as exciting as the Adelaide Grand Final? You go, well, we kind of can't because they're not comparable. Like we've got a Bathurst and Grand Final, those two are really easy to sell. So I think saying that devalues it, it's also bullshit. It's just a lie. Like it's disingenuous, I think, because I went back through Chaz's last 5 seasons and wrote down the gaps to the lead. This year was arguably one of his more consistent years, which means that that's just not true. They didn't sandbag, like they didn't shelve things throughout the season. This is actually on par with how they normally perform for an entire season.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to devalue the excellence of Brock for the year. And I'll say this at the end of next year if Brock said what they did and Chaz had this year. I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group, we've got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Quadlock, fantastic supporter of our podcast as well. We use their products every single day on the pod using their desk mounts here. Also, we've used them to create the additional content like we did the Adelaide Motorsport Festival using their action camera mounts. So whether it's mounts, phone cases, they've got you covered. Quadlockcase.net. Now, the website for all of these brands that support us will be in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. I'm all for celebrating excellence. I don't believe in fucking communism. I'm like, I want to see someone do well and everyone else have to lift. But that's not the world we live in Supercars anymore. But the gap over the last 5 years. So this year, he was 640 points behind Brock going into the last round, but he lost 198 with an engine failure. So if you take that out of it, because they didn't test parts on the engine, they're supplied the engines and you can't test parts. So that's out of their control. You can't say we were trying things to have a faster engine at Adelaide. That's bullshit. You take that out of it, he's 442 points behind Brock.
Yep.
Last year, he's 393 points behind the leader, so very similar. They're 2 years with 2 different formats, very similar, right? 601 the year before, 688 points behind the year before that. Were they years that he sandbagged or tested to try and be good at Adelaide? No, they weren't. 436 behind the leader in 2021, 591 points behind in 2020. It's not to put down the achievement of this year. It's just to show, like, I don't like that we're devaluing the early rounds by saying they're just testing and their strategy was great around the finals. But I also see that they're able to do that and we need to find a way, like what NASCAR's done, whether it's the in-season championship battle, you know how they did the prize. We're going to have to start to look at things to actually make those events worth more.
Yeah.
And that's where I think rewarding race wins as well need to be more important because we realised 14 race wins meant zero. Because someone with an average finishing position of 9th, like Kai Allen, went to the Final Four within 50 points or whatever it was of Brock.
Yeah.
So winning meant fucking zero in this format. But if we can reward wins, whether it's 10 points per win and you keep those points all the way to the end of the year, he'd have to win 30 races for it to be out of touch by the time they get to the final round.
Yeah.
But this is for everyone. This is for next year. If Chaz goes out and wins 14 races, if he wins 30 races and fucking it's done before the final round, good on him. He deserves to win it before the final round, right? Yeah. But if everyone gets rewarded for their wins, it means that every other event is important. That's that's what I think they need to do.
Yep.
And then Brock would have arrived with 140 points in the bank. Chaz would have had, I think he had 3 wins. He would have had 30. Yep. It still would have meant it went to the final round.
Still would have gone to the final race.
He might have, yeah. And then he could have had one mechanical failure and it wouldn't have defined the season. Comparing it to AFL too.
Yeah.
Do you want me to quickly just...
Yeah, go for it.
I feel like I'm railroading the show, but the grand final one was... A lot of people comparing it to that. AFL, for instance, if you win the minor premiership, you get 2 goes at making the grand final. Brock had 1 mechanical, 1 for Sunday. So where's his second chance? It's not the same, right?
Yeah.
You also don't have, we just talked about Woody, he finished 10th in the championship. I have never seen, I've watched a few grand finals, I'm yet to see a team member from the team that came 10th in the standings walk out onto the pitch during the grand final and trip someone over whilst they're taking a goal from like 20 metres out.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's never happened in the NRL.
Way of looking at it, yeah.
So we're not the fucking same. Stop comparing it to ball sports. It's not even comparable unless we want to bench the 20 drivers that are actually still out there on track and just let the 4 go race. Don't compare it. So when TV do compare it and try and justify it, I think it's bad because a lot of the comments I see online are steered by that narrative. And all you're getting is an echo chamber out of broadcast because those guys, they all walk up to Brock Feeney and tell him he's robbed. So why the fuck are they going on TV and saying this is great?
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel. That's all I'm doing. And also, I'm not saying the format needs to be thrown out at all. I'm saying it's year 1. I actually love the finals, and as a podcast, it's been fucking great.
Yeah.
But I do think it's got to be weighted more in favour of someone, forgetting names, anyone next year that has success. And that could be Toyota, could just clean the floor.
Yeah.
And I'll sit here and go, fuck me, they did a good job. They walked out, and I don't care about parity. If they get that thing going, I'm like, they've done a good job.
Yeah.
And whoever wins 14 races next year, I think should arrive at the final round. If the nearest race wins is 4 for the season, I do think they should arrive with a 100-point gap. Still in play, but it's in favour of the guy that's had an excellent season. That's why I felt robbed. Forget that it's Brock. I'm a competitor. Celebrate the championship being competitive. And we're letting everyone play that doesn't deserve to play. That's my take. What?
I mean, over the season, I saw a stat over the season. Yeah, Brock's finishing average was 3.7 and Chaz was 7.3 or something. So, so across the season... But I understand that everyone knew that we were doing this finals thing and this could be what would happen.
Yep.
And it has, but as your point, mate, let's take it now and tweak it so we don't have this, I guess, injustice of someone that dominates all year and then one race.
He finished 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, and that shows how crazy it is.
And if Chaz broke down after that, Will won. Will in that situation didn't deserve to win the championship.
No.
I'm sorry, Will, I know I drive with you, but I'm like, that is not, I don't think that's right. After Brock in that race, when he broke down, Chaz was the next guy that under this format deserved to win. If he breaks down, it's like, it's just, that is an endless thing and there's only 4 guys. It doesn't take much for 2 guys in the final day to have had, say, 2 dominate all year. They're equal on points, whatever, going in the final round. They crash. 3rd place wins the championship. I'm like, I know it's what we sign up for. Yeah. But if you haven't won a race during the season or something, you deserve to be at a little bit more of a deficit.
Yeah. And as far as this year's format goes, yes, Chaz is the deserving champion because he did the best job across the finals format. When no one's arguing that here. I'm just trying to stamp out any comments and shit that are going to come flying at us. But yeah, to your point, mate, I like the fact that don't undersell the other rounds previously, don't undersell the other races, and reward success early on in the season. Like you're saying, extra points for a win.
Yep.
I think that's a perfect scenario.
And they're not wiped. They're kept.
I think that's a perfect, wins only. You get to keep, you get to carry on to the finals. I think that's a perfect scenario or solution that could be really good. And then to your point, Brock, or whoever has a dominant year and has 10 plus wins is a chance of actually they can maybe have a bit of a blunder where they have an engine miss or a slow pit stop or something and it not destroy their whole year.
Yep. Yeah. What do you think about this is another one I added was the teams. So having 2 teams in the finals seems like it's actually a disadvantage because you can't prioritise if there's a safety car, and that's unique to NASCAR. We don't have our own individual booms.
Yeah.
So it is difficult. So if you're in a team Call me biased, but Triple Eight's the best team in the pit lane. They won by 1,000 points again, and every year their drivers are almost every year in the top 4. And I actually went back, so this is again because everyone says because I drive for Triple Eight, they're going to say I'm biased. But these are the years they've had 2 drivers in the final 4 under old points. They're more than likely every year going to have their 2 drivers in the final 4. 2025, 2024, 2023, 2021, but in 2022, Brock was a rookie.
Yep.
So you'd probably expect, I think he finished sixth, which was still a good rookie season, but he wasn't in the 4. So that's 2025, 2024, 23, 21, 2020, and 2019. In 2018, 3 of the 4 were team Triple Eight cars.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but there's a disadvantage. If you're in a team that's average across a year, like I think Walkinshaw finished 4th in the team's championship or something like that, the likelihood of them having both cars in almost ever is very rare. I don't think they ever really have them in the final 4, 2 of them on normal points. So you're always going to have a guy that could be sacrificed. There's a safety car and pit, or play a rear gunner, which is what we saw.
Yep.
And we have spoken to Beardo about this because the penalty, you can debate that or whatever. I think the penalty was fair. I think it's sort of, but equally Brock could have given more space. But the question is that the FIA said they'd hand out a big fine if someone played a factor in the outcome of the finals, right? And it was seen to be intentional. Going by the officials' rule, whether you agree with it or not, he was found guilty of breach of the rules. Guilty sounds like a crime. He was found to be in breach of the rules and the regulations by taking out Brock in a move that the officials felt was not right. Okay, he's the teammate of a guy in the championship, and he's not in the championship. Taking out the main rival, he's found to have been to blame, but they can't prove the intent.
Yeah.
How do they ever prove the intent?
You can't.
Right? And then I was told today it's kind of the only thing that really they could penalise you for if it was like the Debris thing back in the day where it's super obvious that they've gone and held the field up. But then I'm sure everyone listening listened to their team radio. Even when he got the 15-second penalty, the first thing they started talking about was they're going to monitor where Brock is and try and drop him out in front of him or around him.
Yeah.
That is the Debris thing, right? So the intent from the team was always to fuck with Brock. Regardless of if that incident was intentional or not, it may or may not have been. It could have just been like I encouraged Woody always to have a crack, and he might have just been having a crack. But to then say on the radio they are dropping him out stacks up. Seems like a bit more than a coincidence to me that their eyes were on Brock. The way they celebrated when Woody turned him, I don't think you normally celebrate like that for taking P2. I felt like that was a bit over the top. So how do you think we go about in the future stopping teammates that aren't in the fight from interfering, and also this fine? Is it just bullshit from the FIA and it's really just a threat that's never actually going to be able to enforce?
Yeah, it's a hard one, right? Because, how do you prove the intent? And, I mean, teams will use code over the radio and stuff like that. So unless you're a fly on the wall in the...
They didn't even use code. They just said we're going to drop
They didn't in
rating.
that scenario, but they can do, like Debris as an example and shit like that. Multi-21, all this stuff that we've heard over the years in different sports. And unless you're a fly on the wall in the A-trailer or the pre-briefing or whatever, you're not going to know what that really means to prove beyond reasonable doubt, right? So, it's tricky. I just think...
Do you agree with it? Do you agree with a teammate being able to be a rear gunner? Like they kept calling him a rear gunner.
Yeah, and like we saw it at Sandown and things like that. He played that role perfectly.
Yep. Which I, to be honest, I was in support of at the time.
Yeah.
I thought it made the racing exciting and it was interesting, and I think Woody did it in a way at Sandown that was fair. Yeah,
I think if they're going to continue down this path and they're going to have teams that have only one car in and can use their rear gunner, then the sport's going to have to maybe tweak their rules or have the ability to be like, well, if a teammate, regardless of the intent, actually does crash into someone and it does affect the championship, then you are going to get a monetary fine or whatever the fine be, regardless of intent or not.
The other problem you got is the fine. You got very wealthy team owners now.
And people,
244 grand, you're going to buy one.
well, people will, right?
Yeah.
And it's
So I guess you can't ever stop it.
and that's the thing. It's hard.
And two spots, you look at the stats, are more often than not going to be both T8 cars. So the likelihood when you've got multiple competitive teams out there like Groves, Walkinshaw, Tickford, the chances of them getting two in is always very slim because the two spots are more often than not taken with Triple Eight.
And I guess, yeah, I agree with you. Monetary fines aren't that great because you do have people with deep pockets. So, you know, and it's hard because do they go rogue and create their own rule? I mean, if it was me, I'd just go, right, if that happens, as an example, just the numbers won't make sense, but the team loses 100 points, 50 from that car, 50 from the other car.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So it's a team thing, but both cars equal. So it's 100 points, let's just say. 50 off car 25, 50 off what's Ryan, car 2, whatever it is. Something like that, because then it can stuff you back.
Because you're never going to be able to prove the intent. But if you actually do up the stakes, Woody would have considered that when he made that move. Because there is things you think about before you make a move.
Or the team would have been like, hey, mate, don't take whatever you do, don't get in
we can't afford
or whatever.
the
We
risk.
can't afford you to crash him out, so just sit behind him for a couple of laps and pass him when it's clear or whatever.
And you still race hard. Like he's done that all year without taking anyone out. And then it's a coincidence that really the first one he's turned around happened to be Brock when the night before he actually said he better have eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah.
What about Matt Payne, who was leading the race? Should he have eyes in the back of his head? It's very odd that you make all these references like this and then celebrate like they did.
The celebration for me was a little bit too much. I didn't rate that at all. Because at that point in time, all it looked like they were celebrating was the misfortune of Brock. And because Woody was always going to get a penalty, right? Like he wasn't far enough up. Regardless whether the move was, he wasn't at the A pillar by the time Brock had to turn in. So he was always, by the rules, should have copped a penalty of some sort. Sorry, B pillar.
Yep.
Of some sort, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, you're like, well, Woody's just going to ruin his race. So they're not celebrating that he's going to finish on the podium because he's not. He's going to get a penalty. So they can only be celebrating the fact that Brock's turned around and now it's helping Chaz. So, I mean, and that's where you just see, for me, I was like, I didn't really like that too much because you look at a team like, and I'll use Triple Eight as an example, and I have no affiliation with any team, so it's not biased, but they cut to the Triple Eight and there's no emotion. Whether they're winning or losing, it's that level of professionalism. And I just thought, a bit of a cheap shot from how they reacted in the garage. I didn't rate that. I didn't think I was very professional. So that was the one thing that I was like, they could be better doing that.
Yeah.
In my opinion. As far as Woody going on, like making the move, I don't think he went out there to turn Brock around. I think he was just a young bloke racing hard. He's fast. I think he was going for the win. And he probably thought, well, if I do stuff this up and I turn him around, it's going to help out my teammate.
It doesn't matter.
Like, it doesn't matter. I'll be praised by the team. My teammate's going to go win the championship. So I don't think he went in there with the intent to screw Brock over.
Yeah,
I think he's just,
I agree with
think
that.
he thought.
I think he wanted to be aggressive.
I think he thought, I'm going to stick my nose in, and Brock's got more to lose than me, so he should pull out of it. And to be honest, I actually feel like Brock probably could have been a little bit smarter in that scenario.
I agree with that.
And just gone, fuck, Woody's coming, opened up, let him go, and then raced on.
Yeah.
You know, it turns out he had the engine miss anyway, but I still think in that point in time, you know, I'm sure once Brock maybe would do it different if he had his chance again and maybe leave the door open and then battle on later in the day rather than just trying to shut it down straight away and be so aggressive on someone that has nothing to lose. So I will
I agree with that.
play devil's advocate there, I think.
Yep. And the reason we're talking about this so much and not the mechanical failure yet, which we will get to, is because you don't live in the past. We're talking about this will now, the precedent's been set. Everything we've seen now, we have to learn from and adjust, which is why I've changed my take on it, right? Well, not so much changed my take. I now have more information. So we're actually discussing what next year could be done differently and also what are some of the concerns we have next year. Like if Triple Eight only have one car in, the other car's turning someone. Like, you know, they're going to just do it because how do you prove intent? We got told you can't prove intent. So they can't prove it. Like, and we know that Walkinshaw lied as well because on the first day they said they ran out of fuel and stuff, yet they still completed the in-lap and drove all the way to the podium.
Actually,
Why lie? Just, you're actually allowed team rules. What they did was awesome. Like, they're playing, that's the team game. Don't stand up there and lie because then I think you're losing all this credibility when you say, I went down the inside, I was trying to race hard. You're like, I don't know if I trust you anymore. Was that intentional or not? Like,
that did give me the shits with the fuel thing.
You
Like, you didn't need to just be honest with us.
Oh man, and you look
and most again, race fans aren't stupid. People go, fuck off.
Yeah.
You ran out of fuel. Like, you kidding?
I know.
Like, it was actually like that to me. I was like, guys.
Literally happened to what did he have, a fuel surge on the outside of the last corner or something, and then managed to complete the in-lap, drive to the podium.
Yeah.
And then, it was, but that, all that shit was actually legal. And that was the fun of the finals. That stuff I was all for.
Yeah.
It is though next year, like, and also, I think this proving intent is going to be a really difficult one, because now we know you can actually turn someone, and we all know how to turn someone pretty easily and make it not look intentional. So I'm like, well, that's a grey area now. And also then, if you've only got one car in, you can go round and not have to double stack. You can sacrifice a car. It really is at the moment, that was my problem. It's a championship that doesn't support any excellence. It's not like the AFL, like the two-crack thing. There's too many people in there that can have an outside impact like Woody did. Whether it was intentional or not, that actually could have, without the mechanical failure, next year, if that happens to someone else, that could actually be the decider.
Yeah.
And comparing it to last year as well, I see that a lot. I want to address that.
With the Brock turning Chaz around.
Chaz finished 393 points behind the championship last year, right? When he got turned, he wasn't entitled contention. Brock did not turn him for that reason, so Will could win.
Yeah.
Will also was last at that point driving through the field. So Brock, when he was trying to win the race and he had the shits and he made a mistake and got penalised for it because he had the unsafe release.
And it wasn't lap one.
He lost his shit. Like, really, I think Brock dropped the ball last year, made a fuck up, turned a guy, but he didn't turn him so Will could win the championship. That's where the conspiracy comes in for this one. It's like, was this for the championship or not? We don't know. But taking photos going, short memory, fuckwit. I'm like, sorry, are you stupid? Like, that literally has nothing to do or even any comparison. It's like 2017, right? I see that come up a lot with the Scotty Mack thing. I think Scotty Mack had a whole heap of race wins. J-Dub had 4. It's not comparable because they both arrived first, second in the championship with nothing between them. I think it was 80 points going the last day, right? So that's like saying in this one, and I would have felt differently if Brock didn't have the mechanical. I'd be like, fuck, he beat him on the day he had to turn up. That was sort of what I thought coming in was going to happen. Yeah. And then this was like, oh, this is a big hole that every single year, we could literally have every year someone win because someone crashed. Like, that's just dumb. That is like fucking stupid. And it could be someone not in championship. And that's where when you compare it to the AFL, they don't have the other teams that aren't entitled contention tripping them over or like hip and shouldering when they're going for the ball, which is what we've got, which is awesome because we put on a better show in our final. So the one with Scotty Mack is not comparable either because Chaz was 640 points behind. If you want to compare apples and apples, he's 640 points behind. He's not 80 points behind like J-Dub was that year. Yeah. That was based on consistency. And even based on consistency, if you use that format, that would have been P5 in the championship, racing P1. That doesn't happen. So again, these comments or whatever, I'm like, fucking stupid. Like, I don't think they understand what they're actually arguing. So that annoys the shit out of me because I'm like, man, I'm wasting time reading these fucking comments that don't understand it. But that was my take. I think rewarding race wins.
Yeah.
We've got to bring value back to the other ones because we do need governments to go, this will sell tickets, right? And I don't think the hype around the last 3 races is enough to get people to go to Townsville. And I know Townsville's struggling. When we need to make that exciting, right? Yeah. We've got to. We're talking about, I think Wollongong is on the cards. If that's early in the season, how do we make that, unless it's round 1, how do you make round 4 exciting? We're going to New Zealand, like, you know, whether it's an in-season battle with money, the 10 points per win, then when you get a win, you're fucking like, you know, every win matters. That 25 bonus points didn't even matter for Brock. Like, he's like, dude, it doesn't help me much. Winning the minor premiership meant nothing. So that's how I think we could adjust it. And that would help everyone. That would have helped Brock this year, but it could help someone next year, okay? And I'm not going to do a backflip on it if it's Walkinshaw or if it's Matty Payne. Fucking good on him. Yeah, whoever does that deserves to win. But the uphill battle the championship has is there's a lot of fans that don't go for Triple Eight that are going to be very biased and say, well, this actually gives us a chance. When Chaz is finishing 400, 500 points every season off the leader, every Walkinshaw fan is going to go, oh, no, I think this format worked great. We've got to really, you know, and not take anything away from Chaz. Like, fuck, he has won however many races. Yeah, he's a great driver, but the team he's in, I think if he's at Triple Eight, and this will sound bad as well, but if he's at Triple Eight, he probably would be a 4-time champ.
Yeah.
But on this format, he actually would be a 3-time, I read somewhere. I think it was Sleuth. He'd be a 3-time champ on this format. So the fucking idea that they did a really good job this year of planning for this is bullshit because that means maybe you shouldn't have done that last year when it was for all points, or the year before, I think it was. So it's like, yeah, I just think we need to somehow reward excellence again.
Yeah.
And this format can still do it.
Yeah, it definitely can. I think there's probably enough. Well, I mean, the solution that you've offered up, I think, would work.
There's other ones, though.
I'm sure there's.
I heard one today, percentage. It could be like over the season points going into the last round, whatever your percentage gap is to the next guy is the points gap you get going in or something like that. That's one, because you just want to make sure you go to the final round with it in contention and a realistic amount. Like 100 points is realistic. You have one bad day, you're fucking back in it. But, yeah. I also heard, so I didn't hear, I got the numbers from the CEO, which is great, but it is, I think we should celebrate the finals format. I do think it needs to be tweaked, but fuck that, as hopefully Supercars do tweak it and it's perfect, but Triple Eight aren't going to like that.
No.
But I think it is good for everyone. It gives everyone a shot come the final to have a go. But they said that we have more people attend the grand final in Adelaide than the NRL grand final and the AFL grand final.
Cool.
Which is amazing. I do think we need to keep in mind, I don't think AC/DC had a South Australian concert. So the only opportunity for South Australians to go to the AC/DC concert was the grand final. So there's probably some numbers. And I'm always, my idea is you don't get better tomorrow by lying to yourself today. So it's not bringing them down. It's just going, some of the numbers probably aren't supercar fans. Like, are they ones that are going to help round 4 be more popular? Yeah. Probably not. So the numbers, aren't always going to be accurate. But social media, this is one I wanted to get into because they're saying that the sport now has a grand final and Bathurst, which is what I disagree with. I think we should have Bathurst and a season points that maybe culminate into a really good final round that's always got high stakes. And that can be celebrated as a grand final still.
Yep.
But they're up by 73% on socials.
Good on them.
But socials, I wonder if, like those numbers, and I wanted to actually draw a comparison between ours and theirs as an example, because I have been vocal that we need a difference of opinion because there's people out there that don't always agree with the echo chamber that aren't being serviced. So I think there's a large amount of our demographic that's not being spoken to.
Yep.
They have 500,000 followers on their Instagram.
Wow.
The numbers they get, 4,400 on their last post, which could have just been uploaded. But then 32,000, 42,000, 277,000, but that one is collaborated with Walkinshaw.
Yep.
So it's not just their numbers. 102, 28,000, 45,000, 90,000, 44,000. Mm-hmm. Right. And I thought I was curious about this because I'm like, okay, so they average sort of around the 50,000 mark.
Yep.
This is ours, and we only have 19,000 followers, right? We're new, we're only 2 years in.
Yep.
Our numbers over the last bunch of reels, 146,000, 130,000, 437,000, 1.6 million, 304,000, 108,000, 40,000, 65,000. My argument, my point here is we can't just throw these numbers out there like we're 73% up. I get that it is great that as a whole we are up. But those numbers, when you've got 500,000 followers and you're averaging like 40,000 views a video, and this is off the back of the fucking championship. That's their last 9 reels. I do think we're not talking to the audience that's out there because we've got the same demographic watching both pages, same audience.
Yep.
Really, they're supercar posts. One of them's an F1 post, but the supercar posts to still be getting, we got 437,000 on one where I gave my opinion on, and there'll be a lot that disagree, and that's okay. But there's some that agree. The odd one.
Yep.
But it shows that there are people out there. There's nearly 9,000 likes, 9,000 people that engaged with it and liked it. And I think that Supercars, their numbers could be a lot higher with a different strategy. And we say this now because they're going into next year. So they've employed some new people, but the numbers, I'm not 100% sure on. And I want to take account of them because the only way to be better next year is by realistically assessing what they are and whether or not we need a change. And I think their social strategy is terrible. Yeah. I think that, and it actually flows on a broadcast. I'm not sure who they got coming in, but we miss the people like Russell Ingall, Paul Morris, Marcus Ambrose, Greg Murphy. It is an echo chamber.
Opinions, and different opinions. Not all like, yes, you're fantastic. How good's this?
Yeah, debate something. fucking have conversation. That's
tell someone they're wrong.
Lacks life, man.
Tell someone they're wrong if they're not. Don't just agree.
I'd like to know the strategy, but the whole thing lacks life for me. And I think if you rely on the popularity of drivers for your broadcast team rather than actual depth of conversation or something, it's a short-term gain. In 4 years or 3 years, everyone will be like, well, this is boring. They're just different faces in white shirts.
Fair enough. I mean, you know more about that world than me, but looking at the numbers. It's funny with the ticket sales because
Yeah, that's actually, I wanted to ask you about ticket sales. You gave me something there interesting.
I don't know how they count them, whether it's individual barcodes or what for the tickets, but every time I went in and out on the buggy, and that's all the contractors, anyone that was walking in and out of the gates, like I think one day I got scanned in 4 or 5 times.
Right.
And I was like, I wonder if these are counting. Like I wonder if they think that I'm 6 of me. Like, I wonder how that works because, I mean, there was a lot of people there. I'm not saying the numbers.
It was huge.
I'm not saying the numbers wrong. Like Adelaide always gets a massive crowd, but I do wonder how that worked because, I was coming in and out of the buggy quite a bit. And where we were out in the fucking boondocks in Trans Am, like we were out in the back paddock. So you had to sort of come in and out quite a bit. But
I think getting scanned in 4 and 5 times is it does. And I also don't want to be, the event was amazing, right?
It's the best event.
And I went for dinner with Brendan Hartley and Dom from Quadlock, who was actually, so Brendan was driving the F1 car for Rebel. He said, dude, this event has blown my mind. And I heard Jesse Love's interview with Jess Yates and Lee Diffie. Also, how cool was it to have Lee Diffie at the track again? Yeah. But he was saying, he's like, man, we've got drag cars in the front straight right now. I can kick a football to sprint cars. There's Supercross happening over here. He said, this event is the best event I've ever been to. So high five to Supercars and Adelaide because I do think that event holds up worldwide. And the numbers, the checking in, checking out, is one thing, but there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, it was heaps.
I always I do wonder though, about, it's why the format, I'm I'd love to tweak it because you will lose people like me. I'm not going to follow a season and ride the waves and highs and lows when I know I've only got to tune in at the end. And you still watch it because I like motorsport. Yeah. But I'm not going to find it very interesting to do a podcast talking about it because I'm it doesn't really matter. Whoever won doesn't matter. But the numbers, you need to make sure that what we're talking about is realistic so that we review it and what worked, what didn't. That's why I brought up the social. It's we don't have a big following of 500,000 like they do, but it shows that the ceiling they're touching is so low. Something's not working, something's not right. And that is off the back of something we're celebrating as the most engagement, the most talked about the sport's ever been. And it's not really working on their platform. Yeah,
people like a differing opinion. That's why videos on Insta or wherever go viral when it's people arguing and stuff. Prime example is Jenson Button and Danica Patrick. Or Jacques Villeneuve when he goes, no, I think you're wrong. Or Nico Rosberg. Same thing. When they have a differing opinion to someone, they go viral because people's oh, actually, we're not all disagreeing here. He's got a different opinion or whatever, or she's got a different opinion. So it does work. Hence why probably your talking heads go so well.
And I mean, it's really daunting to do, right? You put your opinion out there and there'll be so many people that disagree. And it's, that's why I say thanks for coming to the track wearing our shirts because it's nice to see some friendly faces that don't want to kill me or, don't abuse me. But I actually love it because it's just conversation. Yeah. It's not about rage baiting. I actually love you know what I'm like. I am argumentative and I enjoy a good debate. And if I put something out there and Scafey was to disagree, we'd have so much fun. Yeah. And because there might be someone sitting on the couch that agrees with me or agrees with Scafe or Garth or whoever it might be. But at the moment, it's literally agreement across the board. And no one really dives deep into I would love to know then if the test session that Walkinshaw says is true, they used every round prior to the finals as testing. What did you test? How does that work? Explain it to us. Because I don't believe it, but question it, push it, find out. And they're not going to tell you exactly the parts, but how does that work? In a controlled category, what are you testing exactly other than just setup? Rolling out the truck with a slow car.
Other than toes, springs and campers.
Yeah, I want to know. What does that look like? Because it's not like AFL either where you rest your players to come good at the end of the season. Yeah. Where an experienced guy comes back later in the pre-season because they need the rest on their knees and ankles. Supercar guys that work once a month, we're pretty fresh come the next event. So it's really just rolling out with a good setup. Yeah. You can try different stuff, but I don't know. I'm very excited about what they've done. I just don't want to get caught up in the lights and not review the season as it should be, like fully in depth, negative. Like I remember one of my engineers, Phil Keith, he was the best. He was so hard, but he'd go, we're not here to polish turds, Scott. Like I'd be like, yeah, but I locked the front, you know, I had 2 tenths left in it. And he'd go, Scott, I gave you 4 sets of tyres and you're fucking 18th. We're not fast enough. Like, tell me, what are we doing wrong here? Is it, do I need to fix something or is it you? Did you, can you just not fucking do it right now? Like what we actually have to, hurts your feelings. You love to polish a turd and go to bed thinking we'll wake up tomorrow better, but you just unfortunately got to acknowledge the elephants in the room, and we're on a roll here at the moment. I think, yeah, keep tweaking it, keep working at it.
I think that's the exciting thing is, the sport has made so much change this last 12 months.
Unbelievable.
And yeah, whether they got it right or wrong, that's irrelevant. It's the fact that they're willing to give it a go. And I actually think it's exciting times for supercars. We've got a third manufacturer coming in next year, which is an unknown. I think that's great. It's one of the world's largest car company.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
What about the drivers? How exciting we've got. You look at Woody, like he's a badass racer.
Yeah, 100%.
He's no fucks given. He's whether you agree with what happened in the finals or not. Who really cares at the end of the day? We've got people tuning in because the guy's willing to fucking throw it down the inside.
Marcus said it on the pod we did with Marcus Ambrose, mate. Heroes and villains. Yeah. We need them. And he's like, it's a joke that we're still talking about 2004, and it is. But that's when we had heroes and villains. We had Ingle, we had Murphy, we had Ambrose, we had Rick Cal. Like you had these guys that were so different. Going head to head every week. So I think Woody's a breath of fresh air. The category needed it.
Like you list them though, like Matty Payne, Kai Allen.
Kai's another Woody. I think he's raced aggressive.
Shout out to him, his performance at Adelaide. What do you think of that?
Yeah, great. I think, and at the start of the year, I know we were sceptical of whether he was ready for main game. He has absolutely proved everyone that he is. Like he was
any doubters.
He was a star all year. Not all year, sorry. But he had star moments, podiums, all that sort of stuff. Did you get a win? No
wins, but like you make the final four and there's questions around like consistency got in there.
Yeah.
But dude, I think it was Saturday. I looked at the leaderboard and it was dry. Like Friday's a bit of a mystery because of the weather and stuff. Yeah. But Saturday we had 4 of the final contenders in the top 5.
Yeah.
And Kai's a rookie and he held his own. He qualified on provisional pole.
Yeah. Gun.
I was literally sitting on the couch, like, that's why, I mean, obviously I was disappointed with the outcome, but I am sitting here going, fuck, we have got now, like the oldest driver next year other than Reynolds is Chaz at 33 right now. So we've got...
Is that right?
Yeah, Reynolds is the oldest and Chaz is 33.
Oh, sorry, but is Chaz the second oldest?
Second oldest now. So this is, I think it's the youngest lineup we've ever had in supercars.
Yeah, wow.
Not that age makes the factor exciting, but the quality of the guys out there at that age. Like we're going to say with Kai, Matty Payne, get into it. Matty Payne was offered $1 million to go to Team 18 now.
Really?
Yep. Big deal that got shut down and a lot of, I heard a lot of legal got involved in that to pull the pin on that. But he was going. He was out of Groves. But I think Groves stopped it. But it's there's a lot of stuff, a lot of drivers out there like the Matty Payne, Kai, Brock, Will, Chaz, who's 33, not old at all. Woody, like it's ridiculous. Who else we got? Who am I forgetting?
Anton, because Team 18 are coming good.
Well, Anton's still young.
Yeah.
And he's fast. So the lineup of guys.
Waters is still in there?
Yeah. It's
there is, yeah.
And that's why too, I still want to reward excellence because these guys deserve it. Like Chaz deserved to win the championship, and I don't even like that I don't give him the credit where it's deserved probably because you always want the respect from your peers. And I don't think there was anyone at the gala that didn't feel like Brock won everything, right? Won all the other awards, won the Jim Richards, which is to say you're the best driver of the season. Yeah. And then Chaz has to get up there and hold the championship he's waited 13 years to get. And everyone's going, he wasn't really the best driver this year. And I think that would mean the most to Chaz. Not what the fans think or whether people agree with it or not. He'll deep down know that over the season, they asked him in the press conference, what's it feel like to win a championship now and not Bathurst? Like the difference between the two because you won both. And he said they felt the same. It doesn't surprise me it felt the same because really you just won Bathurst again. Like I do think that. And I think that Chaz deserves to one day feel what it's like to dominate an entire season and not come in 600 points behind. But I think we've got guys that if the teams can give them the car we have like 10 drivers that can, and not even just pumping their tyres up. I think we have 10 drivers. If the teams can give them the right car, should be in contention for a title. That's why I want to see a bit more reward around success.
Yep.
Who's your favourite pick coming up for the young guys? Who stands out to you right now?
For the junior burgers, I mean, Woody and Kai.
Yep.
I mean, Woody's obviously another year up the road in main game on Kai. But I would say Kai's probably had a better rookie season than Ryan did. I mean, he's had a better year this year than Ryan did. So
where did Ryan finish last year? Because I think Kai's actually like 9th in points really on standard points.
Yeah.
If you were to compare a rookie season, because obviously he finished 4th, but if we're going to compare Ryan's rookie season, you've got to try and
normal season, correct? But just on podiums and stuff, and
and
I also think Groves still a team on the up. Like I still think they're getting more and more consistent. Car speed's good.
Yeah, they're not
strategies
here to,
are great.
Here to fuck around either. They are.
They're backing it up. They're putting their money where their mouth is. So
if Matty Payne was to actually leave there, who would you put in that seat?
It's a great question. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd have to think about that, to be honest, mate. I don't know.
There's a lot of pressure, I think, on these teams. It's a very hard one to answer, I think. It's probably a bit of a shit question to ask you on the spot.
Other than myself, obviously. I'm not sure.
We're too old now. We're like 35, mate. We'd be the oldest in the field. It's wild.
I'm not 35 yet, mate.
Are you not?
No.
Fuck. Forgot I'm nearly a year older. Anyway, I think there's a lot of pressure on the teams right now because the kids can perform. And,
Yeah, I think... And that is a point that I did want to make, so I'm glad you jogged my memory, mate. Yeah, supercars, I think, need to somehow, and there'll be people who say, you don't know what you're talking about, Elliot, and they could be true. But supercars need to somehow try and get more cars on the grid to add to that. Like there's so many, I think Marcus said it too, there are so many good drivers in Australia. I think the first thing supercars need to be looking at is how do they make it, as an example, 30 cars in the thing, and how do you add at least one more enduro? Because there is so many talented drivers this part of the world that can be doing great things, and it's only going to be good for the sport.
Yeah.
Because there is a heap of drivers that could go out and in the right car go and challenge tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the challenge would be when you increase the field, though, is getting competitive cars for them to drive.
Yeah, and that's obviously
which this format does. That's the thing. This format probably opens it to more people too. Like Team 18 very nearly had Anton in the Final Four. So next year they've got a shot of the Final Four.
Yeah.
Like the 1,000 points in teams doesn't really matter anymore. Like, the gap first to second, it doesn't really matter because you can have wins at the right time and the success comes your way. Like Woody would have snuck through to Bathurst. Like he snuck through there, to Gold Coast. He should have won that first one. He only needed to win that one. Then he would have won Sandown because he said he had pace on Chaz. He would have been in the Final Four, and God, he'd be a threat. So it's like sliding door moments almost. There's only one thing needs to go your way, and you're in the Final Four. Obviously, you had the failures at just the bloody worst times. Actually, I do need to. Obviously, there's a lot of comments about the engine failure as well. A lot of people asking why didn't they change the engine on Triple Eight's car? Because ultimately, we talked about the incident with Woody a lot because that's a thing for next year to consider. It's a talking point. So I want to hear from everyone listening. Do you agree that someone not in title contention can play a factor like Woody was able to? Also, Seabell. I didn't like that Woody turned Brock, whether intentional or not, and didn't have any remorse really about it as well. Like even saying it wasn't intentional. The tyre failure Seabell had wasn't intentional either, yet he still walked up to Denny Hamlin and said, hey, I'm sorry that what I did had an impact on the outcome of your championship.
Oh, William Byron, you mean?
William Byron, sorry. Hendricks. So, and that's a Hendricks driver. So William Byron drives for Hendricks. Hendricks ended up winning with Larson. Yeah. So it's the same situation. And he walked up to Hamlin and said, I'm sorry that my failure had an impact on your outcome. And then when they interview Woody, it's not the same. And that's just a respect thing. I think that's something maybe being young, but when you see the comments and some of the feedback he's getting, he could have steered the narrative in a different direction by just being a little bit bigger and going up and going, hey, I actually, whether it was a mistake or not, it's a shame that what happened had an impact there.
Yep.
But ultimately, the engine issue for Brock caused the
Yep.
biggest drama. But that was a takeaway. I thought the way William Byron handled that was an example.
Yep.
I think for every driver, not just Ryan, but in the future, if you have an impact, to handle the situation. But the issue for Triple Eight's engine was a crank angle sensor. They had one at the ride day let go. Well, they had one at a ride day let go once. They had the same issue on Saturday. So Saturday night, they replaced the sensor with a known sensor, not just the new one that was untested, but they replaced it with one from Sandown that ran and was faultless. And then to be cautious, they also changed the entire wiring loom. So those that are wondering why they didn't change the engine, it didn't actually have anything to do with the engine itself.
Sensor.
It was the sensor. So they changed the sensor, and then also to be precautious, they went and changed the wiring loom as well. The car ran perfect through qualifying, and then up until lap 15, it was running well. And then it obviously had the issue, the misfire came in, and we all saw what happened there. And ultimately that mechanical issue was what undid the championship for Brock, which is devastating.
Sounded so bad, dude.
Oh man, it was
at the track. Like it was. I was just like every time I went.
Sounded like it was going to
it
detonate.
was just pop, and I was like, fuck. It would be a long
race driving around with
and
that.
just the emotions and everything, knowing that, fuck, like you just nothing you can do.
Yeah, and those that said, why aren't I slamming Triple A? I think it is a fucking disaster. But we also didn't slam Walkinshaw when they had one failure. I think this is, like when they had the failure on the upright, we were devastated for Woody because we're like, fuck, like he was winning that race when he had the upright fail.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you have 5, if you had 5, heads would be starting to roll.
Yeah.
But I think that it is a disaster. It's not good. Like Triple Eight, they dropped the ball at the worst possible time in the championship with that. And it's whether it's their fault or not, it's the car they send out the garage. And unfortunately, that happened at the worst possible time. And that is what cost Brock the ultimate prize, right?
Like imagine if it happened in qualifying.
Yep.
Again, they're bang, change no one, done, fixed, no problem.
Yeah.
But as I say, timing is just.
It's just that's fate, right? It wasn't Brock's time, you know, for whatever reason. And I believe that. It just wasn't his time. And I feel bad for him like I would anyone that never had a single mechanical failure for the entire season. And then
One race, they need it.
And it'd be different if Brock fucking locked the front and shunted. I'd be like, well, dude, I probably wouldn't be, you know, that's, you know, the stakes and you made the mistake.
Yep.
But anyway, the one thing to note is KRE noted that it's been happening in road cars as well. And it is actually a global issue, not just here. So the part that's failing, there's been a recall that's already started on the road cars, which is odd, that it's actually something they use in the performance side as well. But yeah, it is a worldwide issue, and it's been crazy enough that they're having to start to change the sensors on every motor around the world. I just can't believe the coincidence that it didn't happen you know,
One time.
the one, you know, of all of it. But that can happen, and that is motorsport. That's why, though, the format I thought needed to be tweaked. Because that's motorsport. You can't stop mechanicals. That's why we're different to ball sports.
A million moving parts in every car that's on the track.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And someone said to me, it's like someone in the Adelaide Crows when they won the minors. Be like someone tearing a hammy, right? And losing the game because of that. They get their second shot where they could replace that person with another player and they still get to go and compete. Obviously, you have one mechanical failure at the wrong time in this championship, the way it stands. It's not like the AFL. I don't know if NRL is the same. I don't know the NRL that well, but...
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's like, okay, let's tweak it so that we don't penalise excellence and we support it like the AFL do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you fucking crashed twice. Okay, maybe guys, it's not yours or whatever. Or you have 2 issues. Oh, well, that's bad luck, boys. But, you know, keep the fight alive. We've ticked a massive box here. I know my short form 1 minute 30 video was, I still stand 100% by that.
Yep.
I want to see change, and I'm kind of like saying there's got to be change because whatever driver it is next year that has Brock's season, whether it's him or not, deserves exactly what I fucking said.
Yep.
I'm a competitor, purist. I wish some of the people that DM me would comment because you'd be surprised who's in favour of it.
Yeah, right.
But I'm prepared to wear the hat and say what I think, put it out there.
Good on you, mate. Should we finish off with team standings, mate?
Let's do it.
Yep. So Red Bull Ampol Racing dominated the team's championship, total of 5,792 points, over 1,000 clear of Penrite Racing. Great job by them to have a rookie in the squad and be second. Great job, Groves or Penrite Racing. I think they were really did a great job all year, and the drivers and the whole crew. So well done. They were 4,736. Third was Walkinshaw, Andretti United. Fourth was Monster Castrol Racing. So that's Thomas Randall and Cam Waters' garage. Fifth was Team 18. And then sixth, DJR. And then seventh was RJ Batteries and Middies, so Fullwood and Heimgartner. Eighth was Percat and Cam Hill at MSR. Ninth was Erebus. 10th was Premier Racing. And 11th was Cool Drive Snowy River Racing. So that's how the teams ended up over the year.
Trying to think of really.
Only
I
surprised.
think Walkinshaw jumped up a couple.
Yeah, late
in the piece.
Late in the piece, yeah.
Which, coincides with their performance upturn. Like at the end, they just. And you do have to say, like Walkinshaw's execution at the end on car 25 was faultless. Like, and even the way they did deploy Woody.
Yep.
Credit to them. Played the game.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think that we're not saying that Chaz isn't deserving, because as far as the finals format is concerned, they nailed it.
I even think they caught Triple Eight by surprise with how they did play, how well they played. I don't know that Triple Eight could have responded with having both cars in, but credit to Walkinshaw. I mean, and also to see the mechanics. Like I've got a lot of people I worked with that are at that team, and I still talk to them today. And I think that for them to, go out and like my number one from when I was there, Cal,
legend. I was trying to understand now.
Seeing his post, it means so much to people. So, couldn't have executed the finals run better.
And really, like, what set that up for Chaz was Surfers Paradise. And his race on Saturday at Gold Coast was one of the best drives I've seen, like just millimetre perfect, so fast. So no one can say that he doesn't deserve it, because he does on the current format. He deserves it 100%. Yep. So well done.
Who remembered, who forgot, real quick? Chuck that in there, bro.
Yeah, Well, you mentioned Aaron Cameron.
Yeah, I kind of jumped ahead in the first 3 minutes of the podcast and said Aaron Cameron. Who you got?
I wanted to give a shout out for the who remembered just for quali. Macaulay was 6th on Sunday, I think it was, and Jaden Ojeda was 9th.
Yep.
In his second. So I just thought that was a shout out for a quick who remembered for qual. I sort of went through and I didn't really have a who forgot, because it was kind of all played out how I would have assumed in the race results. So I didn't really have a standout for who forgot, to be honest, for me.
Doesn't matter. You have to have someone.
Like, will you go then? I'll think about it.
Cam Waters.
Okay. You didn't give me long to think about it.
I had actually thought about this before we turned up for the podcast tonight, Elliot.
Yeah, but you did your work, mate.
Cam Waters. I just thought that he's so good at Adelaide. I had him as one of my favourites for the whole weekend. I thought he was going to be up there, but he wasn't. I don't know. Qualifying, like to be qualifying 20th or whatever. Bloody. I just didn't see it coming.
I did think Reynolds would be stronger, and Anton was a lot stronger than Dave was.
He rolled out fast, didn't he? And then Reynolds was actually straight up there.
And then kind of just rolled back a bit. So if I've got to give one, sorry, Dave.
There we go. That's it. If we've missed anything, let us know in the comments. We can address it in another podcast. I'm out of breath and need a feed. But
well, this is the last Supercar one for the year, so I hope you enjoyed it.
It might be. We might get abused and have to address some comments after this or something.
Well, yeah, we probably will. I'm sure we will. We'll throw up another talking head video at the pub, maybe.
Maybe you do one.
No way.
You're like, it's terrifying. All right, thanks, everyone. And thanks for this year. Those that have tuned into our Supercar podcast, whether you've agreed, disagreed, we love that you've been here and had the conversation.
Yep.
And we definitely don't want to discourage anyone from sharing their opinion on anything. It's awesome. I mean, this is literally the whole conversation's the point. It's why we do a podcast.
Yep.
And we are just, one dickhead and me that have an opinion we want to talk to each other about and share, and hopefully you cast yours as well and help steer the podcast. It's always what's happening.
Thanks, Hunters.